For decades, the US aircraft carrier has been the ultimate symbol of power, a floating city, a fortress, sailing unchallenged across the world's oceans. It's built for war, but has it ever actually fought one against an opponent who could truly fight back? Think about it. When was the last time a US carrier faced an adversary with cutting-edge 21st century firepower? The answer is never. They have gotten really good at fighting countries with no air force, no navy, no advanced missiles. But what happens when the opponent isn't weak and defenseless? What happens when they have spent years developing weapons specifically designed to make that multi-billion-dollar carrier a multi-billion-dollar target? Weapons like Iran's Fatah-2 hypersonic missile traveling at Mach 15, a speed current defenses simply cannot stop. The truth is, while America perfects the art of overwhelming the weak, a deeper irony unfolds. They pour trillions into endless wars, while their rival develop game-changing tech, and their own nation grapples with crises like record homelessness. This isn't just about missiles and ships. It's about the true cost of power, and the shocking lesson America still hasn't learned. Stay tuned, because the illusion is about to shatter. Let's talk math. For 80 years, the US Navy has relied on layered defense. The idea is simple. If an enemy fires at a carrier, you shoot it down before it gets close. But hypersonics have changed the physics of the game. Iran's Fatah-2 isn't just fast, it's smart. Traveling at Mach 15, covered the distance from the Iranian coast to a carrier in the Persian Gulf in under 2 minutes. Because it maneuvers mid-flight, current air defenses can't predict where it will be in the next second. It's like trying to hit a speeding bullet with another bullet, but the first bullet is swerving. The irony: while the US spent trillions on stealth planes to hide from radar, its rivals spent a fraction of that on speed to overpower radar. The US can't still produce a single hypersonic missile, but their rivals have multiples of these hypersonic missiles. They are playing a catch-up in a game they used to lead. There's a pattern here. It seems the US military has become a bully. They only pick fight it knows they can win, targeting nations with no way to hit back. But Afghanistan proved that even against weak opponents, advanced military hardware is a poor substitute for a winning strategy. America spent 20 years and $2.3 trillion in a country with no air force and no high-tech missiles. They won every battle, but they lost the war. If a superpower can defeat the Taliban, what happens when it faces a nation like Iran? Iran isn't a collection of insurgents. It's a regional power with a formalized military, a massive industrial base, and as we've seen, the tech to sink a carrier. This brings us to the ultimate irony, the price of being a superpower. While Washington debates whether to send another carrier strike group to Middle East, the streets of Los Angeles and New York tell a different story. The US homelessness has hit a record high over 770,000 people. They have the money for 13 billion carriers and $40 million missile interceptors, but apparently not for the people sleeping on the sidewalks beneath the shadows of those same defense contractors' headquarters. Meanwhile, look at the competition. When the US was bogged down in the Middle East for 25 years, China was boiling. By purchasing power parity, China's economy has already outgrown the US. They didn't do it in 11 carrier groups. They did it by becoming the world's indispensable factory. They invested in their own growth, but the US invested in global policy. The result? Superpower that is muscle bound abroad but hollow at home. Geopolitics doesn't offer complete victories. The US finds itself at crossroads. It can continue to project power against adversaries who have already found the cheat code to sink its most expensive ships, or it can learn the lesson that Afghanistan, Vietnam, and own domestic crises are screaming. You cannot kill the road to greatness if you are rotting from within. A war with Iran wouldn't just be a military test, it would be a financial and social catastrophe for a country that is already stretched to its limits. They have been told for decades that their safety depends on being unbeatable, on having the bigger ships, the fastest jet, and the most global reach. But as we stand, the cracks in that armor are no longer just theories. They are visible in the hypersonic trails of the Persian Gulf, the 10 cities lining the streets of their own capital. The ultimate irony is that while the US was busy trying to win against the rest of the world, it forgot how to win for its own people. The $13 billion carrier is a masterpiece of engineering, but it cannot provide a roof for a family. It cannot fix a failing school system, and it can be neutralized by a single $20 million missile from a country they call defenseless. Then what exactly is that trillion-dollar budget buying them? History is full of superpowers that focus so much on their borders that they collapse from their centers. If the US enters a war with Iran, it won't just be testing its missiles, it will be testing the very foundation of its status in the world. Maybe it's time to realize that a complete victory in geopolitics doesn't exist. The only real victory is the nation that is strong enough not to need a war in the first place. The era of the untouchable carrier is ending. The question is, what comes next? Thanks for watching. If this perspective made you think, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Is Papa finally out of time?